Nordic Tales and American Trails is an outdoor and hunting podcast focusing on tales and trails from Northern Europe and the USA, hosted by Eric Rodin from Sweden and Adam Wu from Louisiana. The podcast covers all aspects of the outdoors, with a special emphasis of hunting with dogs. We will explore the unique tales and trails of our region, the various dog breeds used in hunting, and the differences in hunting practices between the USA and Northern Europe.
Yeah, man. So
Yeah.
what's up? You been doing all right?
Yeah, pretty good, eh? Pretty good. Plenty of hunting, bit
Yeah.
of fishing. Boat's broken at the moment, but yeah. And then week on, week off work. So plenty of time to get out and chase a few pigs around, or a few hogs,
Hey.
yeah.
Hey, so how about you give us a quick little introduction as to who you are and type of hunt you're into?
My name's Beau Lind. I'm from the northeastern side of Australia to kind of make it relevant to everybody from around the world, I guess.
Yeah.
The type of hunting I'm into, I do have holders or luggers or catch dogs, but I mainly run bailing or bay dogs. So yeah, I've got four bailers at the moment. So two catahoulers, two purebred catahoulers, and two kind of mixed breeds. So the cattle dog predominantly, or stumpy tail cattle dog, Australian cattle dog crosses. Yeah, hunt a lot of the thicker country, a lot of the crops around here. So we mainly only have sugarcane around here. But yeah, it's a pretty, I guess, full on crop to hunt. Like anybody that has hunted it before knows that they're generally pretty hard to catch in
Gotcha.
sort of these areas. But yeah.
Yeah, man, that's cool. So I found Bo through your YouTube channel, of course, and I think we've been talking for maybe over a year now, eh?
I reckon it'd probably be close to 2 years, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, probably so. And yeah, you've got my favorite YouTube channel. Wanna say the name of it for me?
Beau's, Boars and Barra. So
Who's Boys? I'm also gonna
Barra,
link it
yeah.
in the description. So yeah, but I want to
Yeah.
emphasize something too before we get too deep, because what Bo said was just for the terminology's sake, for people who don't know, bailers or bay dogs, luggers or catch dogs. So you probably hear it quite a few times throughout this whole thing, you know. So yeah, man.
Yeah.
So how'd you get started?
How did I get started? How did I get started? I started off bow hunting, to be honest. Bow
Oh, really?
hunting. So yeah, I got a bow. I don't really know how it came about. I just kind of got a bow when I was a bit younger, and thought I'll give it a shot. And yeah, kind of, I was pretty determined to get myself a couple of pigs. And at the time, I was living at my parents' place, and they had a couple of pigs coming in and digging around. Sort of, they had a couple of dams and that sort of thing. And yeah, failed mission after failed mission. Eventually, I got a couple and kind of went from there. Stuck with that for a couple of years, and then for Australia, got my gun license, and ended up with a little 223, and yeah, got a couple pigs with that, and from there on, sort of, I guess, worked my way onto a couple of properties. Continued hunting, and then I had a mate that I used to go with, and we used to use his little bailing dog to scare him out of the sort of paddocks that he had. So his parents had a sugarcane farm, and we'd use the dog to kind of flush them out, and we'd stand on the pads and that where we thought they'd come out, and yeah, let rip and catch a few. And I was actually looking after that dog when he was working away, and it was pregnant at the time and had puppies, and I couldn't help myself, ended up with one of the pups, and then from then on, I sort of worked my way into working with dogs. So yeah, in short,
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
over 10 or 12 years.
Yeah, so is there a particular reason that you, I guess, like you said, you kind of lean towards the bailers or the bay dogs a little bit more?
I like guns, and I like shooting
Hey, nothing wrong with
a
that.
lot. Yeah, exactly. So that, and as well, like where we are up here, it's a pretty hot climate. So we measure everything in degrees Celsius, but like in summer, it's, say, middle of the day, it's like 35 to 40 degrees Celsius, which is extremely hot. And even at night, it'll only drop to sort of mid to high 20s and that quite often, which same sort of thing. So it's just not really the type of environment to have sort of holders or luggers as sort of, I guess, if they travel a bit further and end up with a pig, it's just too hard to get to them before they overheat. And with it being so sort of thick and that they can't really hunt, just walking them in on leads just doesn't really, it's just too hard really.
Yeah.
So
No, I get
yeah.
that. I get that for sure. I mean, I'm kind of the same way, but so what was the first dog that you started with?
The first dog I had is Arlie, which is actually outside asleep now. She's like 11 years old or something. But yeah, her parents were, her dad was purebred long-haired border collie, and uh, mother was bull terrier cattle dog cross whippet, I think.
Mhm.
And yeah, kind of ended up with her as a very young pup, and her mum was around for a little bit, sort of thing, which helped with the training, I guess, and we sort of ran them together, the pups with their mother. But then after a little while, she sadly passed away, and we're kind of left with the pups. But they knew they knew the basics, sort of thing, and we were pretty determined and had a bit of time on our hands, so we used to spend every spare second out there, kind of doing a lot of miles on the ground and working with the dogs, watching videos, all this sort of general things,
Right.
like asking for any sort of advice from anybody that sort of knew the system a bit better. And yeah, eventually, I guess, ended up with a pretty handy dog in her. And I guess just kind of as you do, I ended up with more and more dogs, and
Yeah.
yeah, sort of can't
It's
help
kind of
myself.
funny because I know the audience doesn't know, but I can visualize every dog you say. Like I know all of them now, so it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is there like specific ways you guys go about training, or is it kind of more just putting the boots to the ground?
There is and there isn't. I don't. Without a specific question, it's hard to kind of put it in context, I guess, because there's a lot of different ways that certain people do certain things and that sort of thing. Stock proofing's huge, so every property I hunt on has sort of plenty of different animals that they can't chase. So here in Australia, for instance, like the wallabies and kangaroos are like in plague proportions on most of the properties, so you might pass by 100 or so wallabies or kangaroos in the morning, and you like any sort of normal house dog and that'd be pretty tempted to chase them or anything else for that matter. Echidnas, so like our version of I'm not sure what you get over there, like little spiky kind of things that dig, like hedgehogs or something like that.
Ah, okay, okay,
There's
yeah.
yeah, we have a lot of them around, which actually smell pretty similar to pigs. Um, Cattle or horses or anything like that. Cassowaries of all things on a few of the properties I hunt, which are kind of like nature reserves and that sort of thing over here. So private properties, but they're pretty into sort of their animals and like might be revegetating a old farming area or something like that. So they're pretty big on dogs not chasing other animals. So there in a lot of the rainforests, there's actually cassowaries in this end of the country, which is like, I guess, like a giant killer ostrich.
Yeah, yeah, I know what they are, but I know a lot of people aren't gonna know what they are. But to me, they're just kind of like vicious looking peacock raptors. They're scary.
That pretty much sums it up. Yeah, they're
Like,
extremely scary. Yeah, they're
yeah,
they're quite sort of vicious, I guess, if they get the wrong idea, sort of thing. Like they're pretty heavily armed with that. Their sort of middle foot has their three toes, and that middle claw is something like you'd see on, I guess, like a raptor, and that can
that's
open you up pretty badly. And yeah, they've got a natural hatred for dogs, I think, from like dingoes, like our sort of wild dogs and that are
right,
around. They
right,
naturally just do not like them.
right.
So yeah, I've had a few run-ins with them as well. But yeah,
Yeah. So do you guys do like any sort of like scent trailing training early on, or is it kind of just hunting them with experienced dogs more so things along that nature?
um, more so more so just boots on the ground. A lot of the time we'll know
Yeah.
that there's pigs in a certain area and that sort of thing. So it's just kind of I guess it's almost like scent training without actually laying down the scent.
Mhm.
So we know there's pigs that have been in this paddock, say, the night before. We don't know if they're still there or something like that. But you'll put the dogs on the trail and sort of reward them for any sort of interest and that sort of thing, if you sort of know what I mean. A lot of people or other people like Greg Tompkins, some of the bigger names over here in Australia, and that they are big on their sort of scent trailing and that. Stu's, you probably know Stu from a couple of
Yeah,
my videos,
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, we actually talked quite a
Yeah,
bit. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
from your
yeah,
videos, of course. That's where it all starts, right?
yeah.
I was just saying
Sorry.
it's just really funny because like my partner and I that I co-host with on here is from Sweden, and we always talk about how like connected we get through this sort of hunting. Like I know everybody
Yeah,
from so many parts of the country. It's insane. But yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's just it's funny.
you're right. It's pretty amazing. Like it's a small
Yeah.
world within this kind of, I guess, community, if you know what I mean. Like it's
Yeah.
yeah, like same sort of thing. Like I talk to people from exactly like you said, like different corners of the world and all that, and it's like amazing, all kind of chasing the same, I guess, the same target, but just different places do it slightly different ways and that sort of thing. And it's all pretty interesting.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So one thing that's kind of interesting to me, because this is a topic I get on a bunch as far as like injuries wild boar, which is one of the reasons I use one dog, one bay dog, right? But oh no, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. I'm not getting there right now, but I'm gonna get
I know where this is going.
there. So yeah, I'm definitely planning on going there.
Yeah.
But but this question in particular was more about the dogs, because you use multiple bailers at a time, and usually
Yeah.
from just even like the Lycas I have. So in the Ukraine they use a pack of Lycas, but in like Norway, Sweden, they just use one Lyca and are very strong on it. In Ukraine, by using the pack, they typically have like a lot of injuries, right? But it don't seem like that happens with your dogs, or am I just not
Like
seeing
the
it?
injury count. You definitely don't see a bit of it. But
Yeah,
no, the injuries are generally it's yeah, in general there's not a lot of injuries. So I try to stick to sort of, how do I explain it? Not necessarily softer dogs, but softer dogs on the catching front. So dogs that target the rear end of the pigs a lot more. So if they're going to grab anything, it's going to be the rear end of the pig. So a lot of the injuries they end up with is when the pig turns around and they go to run away, they might end up with like I guess, a second butthole. But
yeah, yeah,
but yeah, so like the more sort of life threatening and that injuries are not generally as common, although we definitely still get them and have had them in the sort of, I guess, in the really thick stuff. So like sugarcane, I guess, is like a paddock of super thick grass and that sort of thing. So if the balers end up trying to run away and end up sort of stuck up against it, they'll definitely cop it. But
yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of the time with that as well, the other dogs are always pretty sort of like they're right there, and they're pretty. They don't leave much space for the pig because like vision is maybe a meter or something in there. So as soon as that pig turns and is trying to attack that dog, the rest of the dogs are all, they're biting at the back end of that pig, and they
okay,
turn around pretty quick usually, so it doesn't have much of a chance. But
yeah.
they
You think that has
definitely
a
they
lot to do
definitely
with
have
like?
been. Yeah.
You think that has a lot to do with like your dogs hunting pretty much all together constantly? Like they're never hunting with other dogs. Really, they're really just hunting together, so they get this like kind of synergy about them.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, they're generally all together. Occasionally in that like out with Stu or something like that, but for the most part they're all hunting together.
Mhm.
They all kind of have like they're all slightly different, as I guess all dogs are, but being sort of different breeds, and even the Catahoula's are well and truly different lines. Like
Yeah,
they all kind of work a little bit different, and it all kind of matches in. I guess it's kind of hard to explain unless they're your dogs and you know them, but you can kind of see like, Pepper's the little black sort of cattle dog, and she's right in the pig's face,
yeah,
whereas Digital be kind of floating around the back and side and that, sort of letting out the odd bark and just waiting for the opportunity for the pig to try and I guess, go at Pepper, and then she's in there smacking it on the bum, and yeah, like they work very well together. So
Yeah.
yeah, and they manage to keep each other pretty safe.
Yeah, and just for context, because just to kind of relate it to the other hunters around here, when I think of like pig hunters in Australia before even finding your channel, I'm thinking of like just field, just open ground and stuff. But no, you hunt thick stuff, very thick stuff, like very looks very similar to what I hunt. So that's
Yeah,
one thing that kind of surprised me, just for everybody to know you're not just, that way kind of relate, because everybody, you think, yeah, they can do this, but they have this kind of terrain, this, that, or the other. You know what I mean? So just to kind of put it in the context, it's like very, very, very similar, very thick stuff. And
yeah, I know what you mean. I know there's definitely a stigma with a lot of Australian pig hunters and that, with the sort of, I guess it's a lot easier to film in those sort of terrains as well. But there's a lot of open areas, and
mm,
you can see a pig from 300-400 meters away, and that sometimes, and it's kind of like it's a different style. I wouldn't say it's cheating, but it's doesn't take the same skill set, for lack of a better word, I guess. So
I mean, I would tend
yeah,
to agree. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's an insult by any means. It's just different, But
yeah. You hunt what you've got. Yeah,
yeah, the one thing I noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like when I see a lot of Australian pig hunting videos, and even New Zealand, a lot of the dogs stay like fairly close and hunt with you. They hunt with you a lot until they get like really on sign. Then they go. And
yeah.
which is very different from here, I'd say, for the most part. But I kind of want to get your take on that. But after that, I'll kind of share something I'm experiencing that I'm starting to appreciate that a little bit more. And I'll tell you why. But is that pretty much how it is?
It's probably get a bit of flack for this, but in general, Australian pig hunters are pretty lazy. So there's a lot of there's a lot of sort of ute finding and that sort of thing, and there's a lot of areas where you can find from a ute. So I'm not sure if you guys know exactly what ute finding is, but you've probably seen it from the videos. So pretty much everybody that has pig dogs has a ute, or a truck, I guess you guys might
Mm,
call it. So
yeah.
the dogs stand on the back, sniff off the side. Once they pick up scent, away they go, sort of thing. And I do a lot of it. I probably do more than what I should, really. But it's that sort of thing, because there's so much of it, and hunting from quads and buggies and that sort of thing. It kind of, I guess, the trait of a dog that works out constantly, and that is kind of not as needed as what it I guess used to be. So people don't rate it as highly, and I guess it's kind of slowly disappearing from some lines. So I rate a dog that'll work out very, very, very
Mm,
highly, but it is quite hard to get. So depending on the dog, like Digit and Remy both work out pretty well. Like Digit, you pretty much never see her if you're walking. You might occasionally see her buzz past.
mhm,
Um, Remy's pretty good at that. She'll do a big long lap and then come back for a minute or two and then disappear again for another big long lap, and that until they pick up some sort of scent. Pepper doesn't go anywhere near as fast, so she'll just trot along 30-40 meters in front of you. And Minty's pretty similar. So yeah, but it's definitely a trait that I rate highly. It is kind of hard to get over here, to be honest.
yeah. We have kind of the same thing. We have different dogs that so I have a dog we have a dog named Daisy, and she's a blackmouth cur. And
Yeah,
she's a trail barker. She's good, but she goes. When you cut her loose,
yeah,
she's gone, and she's gone till she's under a pig. But my dog Kylo, my main dog, it's something I really was thinking about today hunting by myself. So I'd say in open woods, he'll probably search like 300 to 500 yards, right? In
yeah,
fairly open woods. But today, in this time of the year, most I'm hunting like really thick, not heavily populated pig areas. And I mean, what we're looking for during the day is bedded down pigs. And he's staying within 100 yards, but I mean, you take that GPS tracker and it looks like a child drew a crayon all over it. You know what I mean? So you're not missing so I'm just watching them. I'm like, I'm really starting to appreciate that a lot more,
yeah,
because that spot today, like I wouldn't even be able to take a dog that just gets out of the country. There's just too many roads, stuff like that, and I can't really control it. And by him hunting the way he hunts, I automatically know in the change on the GPS when he's on a pig, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm starting to appreciate that a little bit more. I like a good search, but if they're close, I don't mind as long as they're checking
Yeah.
everything. I mean, because those,
Whatever they're doing, as long as they're working.
yeah, yeah, because I mean, some of these
Yeah.
pigs are sitting tight like rabbits. Like sometimes we almost step on a pig before they want to jump up, and they're not throwing off a lot of scent. And they've been bedded for a while.
It is amazing, like when a pig's been bedded up there and that, and you like for an extended period of time, especially if the sun's out and it's kind of dried up the scent and that sort of thing. If the sun can get to the ground, like it's amazing how close you can be or the dogs can be to a pig, and they might know something's about, but they can't really pinpoint it. And that pig sometimes won't move until the dogs are or you are right on top of it, sort of thing, and it sort of leaves it no other option but to take off.
Right, right. And for you having luggers as well, catch dogs, is there a particular reason for that? Or is that it just kind of fell like that?
I kind of felt like that, I guess. I ended up with Toby, the little sort of white whippet cross. He's a
Yeah.
bit of a nutter. Yeah, his brain isn't the biggest, but his heart definitely is.
Mhm.
And yeah, I got him hoping for a baler, and that's the last thing he is. I don't think he's ever barked at a pig in his life. But there's not much going on between his ears, but he's pretty likable. Everybody loves him. But
Yeah.
yeah, but so I ended up with him and ran him a little bit with Ali, the real old dog that I've got. And yeah, so we're running them as sort of a baler and lugging team, and then got Digit, and kind of, I guess, slowly as I got more dogs, went away from the lugging dogs, but then ended up with Jet, maybe a year or two ago. And he started off as a baler, but then he's changed his mind, and there's no getting it back out of him. He's 100% determined that he's going to be a holder. And I thought, oh well, why not? So I just decided to start running Toby and Jet together mainly. Occasionally, I'll take Arlie along. Just she's not a lot of help, but she can be a bit of help on that. But she's just kind of slow in her old age now. But she loves getting out, so she can tag along as well. Doesn't cause any harm. And yeah, I sort of ended up with them, and I find them kind of handy in different circumstances and that sort of thing, I guess. So there's no real reason to get rid of that sort of pack. I guess they do their job. They catch pigs at times when it might be slightly harder with the balers and vice versa. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just the heat thing that's the biggest thing for them. So it's trying to keep them within a distance or in country that I can get to them relatively quickly.
And you guys don't have a pig season, huh?
No, no.
Same.
So we hunt year round.
Yeah, it's same
Yeah.
with us. At least here, certain states, not all of America, but yeah, certain states like us, Texas, we don't have any season. It's just open all year round. Yeah, I mean, we have a pair of dogs that for sure, if they're together, they're gonna catch everything. And there are certain, not that we're ever really looking to get on small pigs, but I eat everything we get. So I like the smaller
Yeah.
ones too. But there are
Yeah.
certain areas where you got those medium sized pigs, which for a bay dog can sometimes be hell because they don't like to sit, they get nervous. And I guess not so bad if you got quite a few bailers, but if you're just running one bay dog like me, they got to stop them quite a few times before they're ready to sit. So
Yeah.
yeah, so those
Yeah.
situations, I could definitely see using the luggers a little bit more. So
It
what?
definitely comes in handy for that sort of thing. And same
Yeah,
with having multiple balers. I guess they just give the pig, no matter which way the pig goes, there's a dog ready to put sort of hurt on it and stop it as soon as it turns its back on them. So if I end up with one dog on one, if it's a pig that doesn't really want to run and that sort of thing, it's usually not too much drama. But if it's a pig that wants to run, I end up with a baler that's either absolutely stuffed from trying to do the work of multiple dogs and that a lot of the time, especially when it's hot, or I end up, I guess, sort of running on and on and on and on and on until finally kind of lay eyes on the pig and can get a shot away.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I definitely see both sides of that because I guess the only reason we really don't, or I really don't, is especially with the Leicas, because they're super quick and and very leggy, so they can pretty much nip them in the butt before they get too far. But also with that size, if you put another dog with them, they're gonna catch.
Gonna
Uh,
hold. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So the YouTube channel, what made you want to start?
I've always kind of been into kind of cameras and filming and that since I was a I guess still in school with different things and that. And if you go back far enough, might be on this same YouTube channel. But if you go back far enough, it was originally mainly just sort of fishing and
Mm,
that sort of thing. And I'd slowly sort of transferred into the hunting as well. And now definitely predominantly hunting. But yeah, I just kind of enjoy filming what I'm into, and I don't know, it's always been another hobby of mine, and I like trying to kind of, I guess, trying to put a positive light on a lot of the hunting as well, because it does around the world, it does generate a lot of a bit of a negative stigma.
mm,
Whereas, like, really, I feel like people don't really see the whole picture a lot of the time, and they're kind of certain. I mean, a lot of people are stuck in their ways, and it doesn't matter what you tell someone. If they say it's black, you can say it's blue, green, red,
mm,
purple.
mm.
They're still going to say it's black.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's definitely a lot of people on the fence about it and that sort of thing. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'd kind of try to put a bit more of a positive light on it, and I sort of, yeah, just give people a reason outside of the general, like, people just think we're bloodthirsty lunatics or something like that sometimes, where that's definitely not the case at all. So
yeah. Well, I
yeah,
mean, when we're constantly portrayed like that on TV and movies and whatnot, doesn't give us a big advantage. You know what I mean? Then all the animals are always super sweet. So it just
yeah,
really looks
yeah,
really bad on us. And the reality of it is, like, I feel like really most of us hunters, for the most part, most of us hunters have a deeper respect for these animals than like more than anybody. That's how I
yeah.
feel.
And I
You
feel
know.
like a lot of people think that sort of nature's such an innocent, like innocent, like I don't know, there's nothing kind of, I wouldn't say negative, but there's nothing out there that's, like, everything's just sort of peaceful and not out in nature. Whereas in reality, we all know, like, any sort of animal, the way it's going to die out there is going to be generally a lot worse than us sort of pulling the trigger and flicking the switch and that's it, lights out, as opposed to that animal might be out there and say it gets old and its teeth start to rot away and then it slowly starves to death.
Mhm.
And like, what a way to go. Or it gets, for a pig, say for instance, gets scored by another animal, gets an infection, slowly dies, mauled by some sort of other wild animal, and that, which is never going to be as fast as bay dogs or even holders and a knife sort of thing. Like, it's a slow, miserable death, no matter which way you go out in nature.
Yeah.
Generally, unless you fall off a 100-foot cliff and hit your head, it's not it's not that pretty peaceful picture that people kind of like to believe it is out there. It's a pretty ruthless world.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But well, since we're talking about YouTube and we're talking about injuries, uh I guess we can dive into it.
Yeah,
You had a bit of a scratch. You had
yeah. I had a
a
little
little
bit of a
scratch.
scratch.
Yeah. You probably told the story a million times. You might be tired of telling it, but if you don't mind,
Million
could
and
you
one, but yeah, that's all
Right.
right. That's all right. I was pretty confident you were gonna come across the story at some point. So I've got I've got the set of teeth here sitting next to me, which sit on my bookshelf. That's probably a weird thing, but
I do the same.
so this is the teeth of the, I don't know if you can see, but that's the actual
Yeah, yeah,
pig
perfect.
that did get me in the leg. So yeah, I was up north hunting with Stu and another bloke, Zandy, and I'd actually been sent the spear. If you give me a second, I'll just grab the spear. It's just
Yeah,
here.
yeah, no, take
So that's that's the spear. The tip's snapped off. It's got a couple of cobwebs and that on it. I dragged it in before, but yeah, it's just long aluminium screw together piece of gear, and I got sent it. I got sent it by another guy, and I'm pretty like once I get an idea in my head, I'm pretty determined to try and do it. So yeah, he'd sent that up, and if you get the right opportunity and that tested out on a pig, and I thought, oh yeah, like it's not a bad idea. Given the right opportunity, it might actually be better than a gun or something like that with the bay dogs, and like I guess a spear through the heart's just the same as a knife, or for lack of I guess even like a slow bullet, like a shotgun slug or something like that. It's all fairly similar. So I thought I might as well give it a go. But I had it kind of stuck in my head really hard that I wanted to use it this day. And we tried a couple of days in a row, and that sort of opportunity hadn't come up. And then this morning, I was determined. I was using this spear for better or worse. And we were walking along, and the dogs took off and bait up this pretty hefty sort of Cape York, so Northern Australian boar, where they're renowned for being pretty cranky, and they're not overly big pigs, but they have like a solid front end on them, and they're real sort of fighters. And this pig wouldn't sit still; it was chasing the dogs around and sort of carrying on, and you can see it in the video actually. But it definitely wasn't the pick of the pigs to use the spear on. But like I said, I was pretty determined, so I was like, I'm using it for better or worse. And they finally sort of bailed it up in one spot. It nearly ran Stu over a couple of times, and I snuck in, and I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. Like I was just like, oh well, make it or break it. Like fake it till you make it. I'll give it a shot, and hopefully it works. And I walked in, and this pig sort of started to turn, and was he could see me out of the corner of his eye, and I thought, oh well, it's now or never. So I gave it waffle, and I did stick it, but obviously not very well. And I turned to what I should have done is left the spear in it, held it at sort of spear's length, and just kept that in there until it decided to turn back the other way, because the dogs would have been straight onto it if it tried to head towards me. But hindsight's a beautiful thing, and instead I pulled the spear straight out, started backpedaling. And it came towards me, and I thought I was going to get away. So I thought I'd step slightly to the side, and like it was gone. And as it came past, it just kind of flicked its head just slightly towards me like that. Like it's nothing. It's amazing that like the injury that they can do in a very short amount of time. And I was in a pair of shorts, and it just brushed past my leg, and I thought, holy moly. And it kept going, and I went to run, and as I went to run, I could just feel that like something was not right. And it had cut straight through the sort of inside quad muscle in your leg. So it got me pretty good in the leg, and I was pumping out a lot of blood. So you could see every time my heart beat, you could see the blood kind of gush out. And I actually thought I was going to die, to be honest. I was like, what a way to go. At least it's a decent story, I guess. But
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure I watched it. Wasn't there like a kind of uncut version at first when you had it up?
Yeah. There's a more uncut version, so you don't actually see the blood pumping out, because the GoPro fell off my head, and when I sort of hit the ground, the GoPro was 5 meters away or so, and I was trying to hold both sides of the wounds like together, and the blood was just kind of gushing through my fingers. And the last thing in my mind was like, "Where's the GoPro?" I was like, "Hope I don't die." But
Right. Well, I mean, I'm glad you had that much concern, because watching the video, you wouldn't. The whole time, I'm just like, Are they worried? Are they? Y'all are some tough bastards. It's like you guys are just like, damn, got you pretty good there. I was like, well, I mean, I'd say
not ideal.
it looked like his legs hanging on by a twig. Didn't you have like a 3-hour ride or something in the back of the truck?
Yeah, probably closer to 4 hours. Yeah, so I was on the ground, and then we carry some pretty good first aid kits. So we had hemostatic gauze, which is I think it's the same one that they use in the Iranian army from memory. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that, but it's pretty good stuff. It's called Cellulost or something like that. And it sort of we grabbed that out, and as I was holding it together, Stu went through, found it, jammed it in the hole, and then we used what we call horse bandage. So it's like I think in the video it's a blue bandage, but it's self-adhesive, so it sticks to itself. So it's sort of good in those situations where, you know, slowly wrapping it with a normal bandage and trying to apply pressure properly and like bugger all that, just wrap the bloody thing up and stop me bleeding, sort of thing. So yeah, we just jammed it round and round and round, and a couple other bits of different gauze and that over the top, and managed to stop the majority of the bleeding. So there was a fair few layers, and it was still sort of dripping through. Like I'd lost a fair bit of blood on the ground, but wasn't going to die. And then it was sort of time to crack jokes, I guess, while we waited for Zandy to go and get the car. And yeah, he went and got the car and got Stu's car actually, and sort of bush bashed it back through. Well, lucky we weren't too far from camp and it wasn't too thick, so he had to do some probably pretty questionable driving, but managed to get it there. And then they made like, I guess what do you call it, like where you sort of monkey grip, and I sat on there in between their arms and got lifted on the back of the ute, and yeah, headed off back to Stu's place. And I should probably mention Stu shot the pig just after it got me as well, so the pig wasn't a problem after this. But I'm headed back to Stu's place, and yeah, I managed to get Zandy had got a lift up with me, I think, from memory, and Zandy drove my car back with me in the passenger seat, so I had pillows and everything, and I was sort of lying, I guess, back across. It's a single cab ute, so lying back across, sort of up to him, and then legs out the window, and we headed back, and yeah, it was pretty sort of nasty. Like it was still kind of, I guess, dripping through the bandage and that. And we stopped at one of the roadhouses and quickly grabbed just a bit of water and whatever else. And I actually needed to piss at the time, so I still wasn't 100% sure I wasn't going to die at this point, I guess. So I didn't really care what anybody thought of me. So I kind of pissed out the window in front of everybody in the car park, and I mean, it's sort of like those sort of dreams you have where you're gonna die and you just tell your boss what you really think. It was kind of like that. Like I didn't really care anymore. Yeah. So he managed to get me to hospital after 4 or so hours, and we called up before we got there, parked in the parking lot, and they came out with a wheelchair. And as soon as I'd put it down, sort of thing, it'd start bleeding again. So they got me sort of like a leg rest in the wheelchair and wheeled me in. And it might be I think it might be in the video, I'm not sure, but the doctor's sort of like, oh, how bad is it? And I was like, oh, it's not good. Like it's pretty bad. Hey, now how much blood do you think you lost? And I was like, there's a lot of blood lost. Like, and I don't think they took it too seriously, but you can see in the footage that they open up the bandage, and as soon as they open up, it just sort of gushes out, and the bloke's sort of like, oh shit, like I could see it on his face, and at the time he's like, bugging me dead, like what, holy moly.
Yeah, for the listeners, I mean, however you're visualizing this, it's likely worse. Yeah, it was rough. I remember looking at it. I was like, oh my God. I mean, I know if it was me in that situation, I was listening to you guys on the video. I watched the whole video, and I was just like, yeah, I'd be calling all my family, telling them I love them. Hey, it's over with. That's it. I'm done. That was pretty amazing. I'm not that tough. So,
I don't know. You'd be amazed given the situation just how tough you can be. But
well,
yeah.
I hadn't thought too much about a spear, but I'm not using it. So you definitely you definitely cleared that one up for me. Oh, speaking of tough, I don't know if you want to call it tough. There's probably other words for it, but you use a spear again.
Hey, I've used a spear again. Yeah, well, yeah. Some people probably call it stupid.
I said, look at Toby. You're like Toby over there. Like, I said, yeah, like Toby over there. You're just a maniac.
Dogs are like their owners.
That guy said, I mean, it can't happen twice, right?
Well, I think yeah, you know, lightning doesn't strike twice, but hopefully not. But yeah, so I don't know, get the monkey off your back, I guess.
Yeah.
Don't need to use it again now. So
well, yeah. So I'm gonna link your channel to that. I'm gonna link the video because you still have the video of it, right? It didn't get taken down.
I still have the video. I think it might be rated 18 plus, so it's been demonetized. But as long as you have a YouTube account, you can still watch it.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and link that. What do you think about all that, man? With the YouTube, I feel like it's really hard, or maybe I
Yeah.
overthink it. Like as far as what you can, which a lot of us hog hunters and boar hunters are like have this kind of trouble-ish, because I got one more strike, and my channel's gone.
Yeah.
So, but it's like then you find videos that are so much worse than yours, and you're going through all this effort, and it's weird. I see people going to Rumble, but how long is that going to take for Rumble to build some kind of real audience?
That's the way I see it. There's just not the kind of fan base, I guess, there for Rumble and that. So it is a very hard one. Like you said, some of the stuff that you see on YouTube, not even hunting related, and that is like, wow, like anybody could go on that. It's not age restricted. It's not anything someone's, like a 5-year-old kid could go on there and watch that.
Yeah,
And then there's, like some of the videos and that have been, I guess, demonetized or censored or deleted or whatever of mine, where at one stage I was going through sort of like butchery and that sort of thing and dressing pigs out and all that sort of thing. And there's you just can't put that, which is kind of mind blowing. Like it's almost like they're leading people to a false reality, I guess, across the world, sort of thing, of like where their food comes from and all that sort of thing. Like you can't even show butchery, everything. Like that's it's pretty much just showing the same meat that you're going to get from a supermarket and where it comes from and how it's made and all that sort of thing. But that's against the rules. But you can go on there and you can watch a gunfight in Afghanistan or something, and it's no worries.
yeah, yeah. It's insane. I don't.
It doesn't make any sense.
One question I want to ask. So from when you started to now, would you say there's anything or like the biggest things you've learned in that process as far as when it comes to either the dogs or just hunting in general?
Know what you're doing when you use a spear. Um,
Yeah.
the biggest things I've learned, don't keep you cool, pretty much.
Yeah.
So that goes for everything. Dogs, and that can read your nature and that sort of thing. And if you're going out and your dog's not doing what you want, this applies only to dog hunting, I guess. But your dog's not doing what you want and that sort of thing, and you start to get frustrated and worked up. Your dog can read that from a mile away. So different dogs are different, but if you can't put that to the back burner and that sort of thing, your dog will not work as it will when you're sort of portraying positivity and you're being sort of positive towards your dog and towards its sort of efforts and all that sort of thing. Even if it's not doing what you like, of course, there's times when you need to discipline your dog to a point, sort of thing. But if you just constantly are frustrated and that sort of thing, you're definitely not going to get what you want or what you could out of your hound or dog. So that's a big one, I reckon.
Yeah.
And just from going hunting with other people and that, you see it all the time. So
Mhm.
it's, yeah, like I've got dogs there. If I get really frustrated and that, and of course it does still happen to all of us, there's times where you just can't help it and you're like, just far out. But when I start to get like that, I notice my dogs start shutting down and they're sort of like, oh, the boss is mad. I better not go out and do anything because that's given us a chance to do the wrong thing, I guess, and it's going to frustrate him. So they just start doing less and less and less, and it's kind of like a snowball effect. So the less they do, the more frustrated you get, and the more frustrated you get, the less they do, and it just kind of works over and over. And yeah. So
Right.
I'd say that's a pretty big one.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's great. That's great. It's something we all, like you said, we all do it, and you got to try to reel yourself back and say, all right, let's
It is what it is.
yeah, you just gotta deal with it. Or, dogs are like people; they have their off days and whatnot.
Exactly.
Reality of it. But so do you have any like particular goals when it comes to the YouTube channel or your hunting in general?
Not exactly. I just like I've got work outside of YouTube and all that sort of thing, obviously. So I'm not banking on making a living out of it or whatever anytime soon. course, I wouldn't mind making a living out of hunting in some form or another, but I actually enjoy my work and stuff outside of hunting, so it's no big, and I guess it gives me a break from hunting, which keeps it all fresh and that all the time. Goals are just to sort of, I guess, just keep pushing with it how I can, and to keep enjoying it's the biggest one. So,
Yeah.
like, yeah, if you get too into it and you push yourself too hard, and that everything kind of becomes a chore. And I don't want hunting to become a chore. Like I love doing it, and um, like I'm reasonably good at it. I've got farmers and that they ring me up when there's pigs there and that sort of thing to try and get rid of them and all of that sort of thing. And I don't know, it's kind of rewarding, kind of helping people out as well on that kind of front. Like, they ring up, they say, oh, this pig's destroying this, like I need help. And you come around there and you catch pigs and the damage stops, and it's kind of like, that's rewarding. As for like the trophies and that sort of thing, I guess it's the same as anybody. That latest video you might have seen with Stu and a pretty good, like really, really good set of teeth. Like, of course,
Yeah.
that's super rewarding. But
Was it
I'd
not to cut you off, was it his young
yeah,
dog
yeah.
that found that one?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what
Penny.
I
So
thought.
he's
I was trying to watch it at work, so I was
pretty young.
kinda, and, it was pretty
Was up
funny. So
in
he was
there.
like, 'cause I could hear him say, he got a little like you said, I don't know if it was frustrated, but it was like, he's barking at something, I don't know what he's barking at, what
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
barking
We
at.
were both like, "Oh, is it a pig? Like, please just don't be something to frustrate us." Like
Yeah.
we were a little bit skeptical. Digit went with her, so just behind her on the same sense. So that kind of gave us some sort of sense of like Digit's pretty kind of, I guess, like she knows what she's doing. So
Yeah. Yeah.
she wouldn't have gone if it's not a pig, but we were kind of like, I don't know, still that little bit in your heads, like, no, like don't frustrate us, please. And then yeah, they started sort of. We couldn't hear them from where we were, even though they're only a couple hundred meters away. But um, Remy could hear it from where she was, and she went there along with Stu's other dog, and they all sort of treed. And we thought, oh well, from where we'd moved to, we could hear the barking, and if it was anything out of the ordinary, like a couple of dogs would have been coming back, like, oh, don't do that.
Right, right.
And no, they were all treed and barking pretty full on. We thought, oh, well, it must be a decent pig, and yeah, sure enough, it was an absolute cracker, like a really really good
Yeah.
pig, and
Yeah,
really really good teeth,
yeah.
outstanding teeth.
Those are teeth, and that's a crazy thing too, because we were talking about talking to people all over the world and seeing all these different pigs, but we don't. Not that pigs here don't get those teeth, but it's very very rare, and it's kind of funny because like we have, I feel like some of the biggest boars body size they can get like really really big, but then you have like pigs in New Zealand who are like 100-pound pig is like a big pig, but they have
Yeah,
teeth out of this world sometimes. It's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, those
yeah. So
subspecies and all.
in Australia over here, generally, in general, so it's definitely, like you said, you do, like you said, you get big pigs, and sometimes like they do get big tusks, but it's rare.
Mhm, yeah.
So wherever there's kind of really big pigs, for the most part here, they get smaller teeth. So I don't know what the connection is there. But like
Hmm.
Cape York is renowned, so north of me and sort of the more open country, I guess, sort of country a little bit like that video, but a bit further north for the most part. Um, they get to sort of around the 80 kilo mark. So I'm not sure what that is in pound, maybe like 150 or something, I'd guess.
Uh,
So reasonably, I could be wrong. I have no idea really. I'm just
I
guessing.
think it's getting close to 200.
It's close to 200. Yeah,
I
right.
think
Yeah.
so. I think I'm right. I think it's like 2 point something pounds per kilo.
So they're a big pig, but they're not huge.
Yeah,
Like that's a big one for up there. That's like, in, of course there's exceptions, but in
yeah.
general that's on the larger end of the scale. But the teeth are just phenomenal nearly all the time. Whereas you go to the north, like some places in the Northern Territory out in the floodplains or south of here in some of the crops, and like I know people that will catch a 150, 160 kilogram pig, usually most years, which is Like I've never even seen a pig that big. Like it'd blow my mind. It'd be like a hippopotamus. It's generally, in general, they just don't have the same teeth. So they might have sort of little kind of, like, I guess, fully functional teeth, but they're nothing like the sort of world beaters that you
Yeah.
get sort of up north and in other places. Which
Yeah,
is,
that's
I don't
strange.
know, it always seems to be a bit of a connection there for some reason.
Yeah, I think that's the same here. I mean, that's pretty much what we find. And like you said, 150 kilos. Let me do the math real quick. So that's 330 pounds. 150 kilos, and
Yeah,
it's not super irregular. Obviously, they're pretty rare, but it's not crazy to find a 400-pound boar over here. Yeah, like
that is a huge pig. Yeah,
yeah. I'll send you a picture of one later that we had on camera, and we didn't end up getting it, somebody else did. But yeah, it was like 420 pounds, something insane. Yeah, it's just a monster. But it's just like you said, I've never seen one that big with big teeth. He just had these little hooks.
it just doesn't seem to happen. So the biggest the biggest pig that I've got is is 124 kilos, and was actually a Barra. So it has, I don't know what you guys call it, if it's the same, but it doesn't have any nuts.
Yeah, yeah. So we call them a
But
bar.
yeah, and it's too. Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, it actually had fairly big teeth, which was mind blowing for me. But every other pig that I've got over the sort of 100 kilo mark has, in general, had reasonably small teeth. So never any world beaters, never like really good sort of thing.
Well, look, man. Is there anything else you really wanted to add, or yeah, if you're
I
happy
don't
with
know.
that, but I want to tell everybody again, the reason I know you is because you have my favorite YouTube channel for pigging on YouTube. So everybody go check out
Thank you.
Boars and Barra. It's my favorite by far because it's just like you don't do a whole bunch
Oh,
of extra. Like there's some videos where there's like a whole movie and then like 5 seconds of action. But I feel like when I'm watching your videos, you're kind of, it's like you feel like you're making the hunt yourself. So yeah. Well, guys, I think I lost some probably just connection. We're lucky we got through pretty much all of it before this happened. So I hope you enjoyed that episode. Go check out Beau's Boars and Barra, and we're gonna have the his YouTube channel and that video in the description. So yeah, be sure to check that out. Thank you all for listening.